Elon Musk says he will drop his bid to purchase OpenAI for $97.4 billion if the nonprofit stops its pivot to a for-profit model. Here with the latest, we've got our very own Alexis Keenan. And Alexis, it's interesting. We obviously learned about this through a court filing on Wednesday, I believe. Talk to me about what we know about this and Musk's kind of goals for OpenAI right now.
Yeah, so it was back on Monday when we first learned about this $97.4 and change billion offer. It's Musk and a group of investors that he put together to make this offer, put it on the table to buy the assets of the nonprofit OpenAI. Now, this ultimatum, though, it comes in a legal filing yesterday where Musk is saying, well, I will drop this offer if OpenAI and its board agree to go back to the nonprofit mission, which essentially is to develop ethical AI, if you try to kind of put it simply. Now, on X, though, Altman said no thank you that same day. And Musk claims, though, that Altman, by going it alone and unilaterally rejecting that offer, that he went against his fiduciary duty to the nonprofit, that he needed to go to the board to get approval to accept or reject this offer. So Altman, for his part, responded also in another court filing, and he and the defendant say that really that Musk's bid, going with a group of investors that are for-profit folks, that it cuts against the underlying arguments in his case, trying to keep OpenAI a nonprofit. So if you look, though, at that $97 billion offer, it is significantly lower than what we've been hearing. Multiple reports of SoftBank injecting capital into this company, bringing its valuation to somewhere between $260 to $300 billion. But legal experts who I talked to say, well, that may set a price floor, which is important here because OpenAI, the nonprofit, it is required by law to get fair market value for the assets that it owns. And of course, if you're OpenAI, if you are its investors, if you are Microsoft, your incentive right is to keep that number low and buy low. So this kind of complicates the deal, and it's just a $97 billion offer at this point. In a hearing last week, too, in Musk's case, the judge said no matter what, that this case is going to trial on at least some of the claims, because at the heart of Musk's claims are that there was a deal in the beginning. Musk is a co-founder of OpenAI, put $45 million into the nonprofit, and he said the deal was that it remain a nonprofit, and the judge says we don't know the answer to that question, and we're going to have evidence, we're going to find out, so at a minimum, a jury is going to hear what these parties have to say.
I'm really curious, based on your experience in this sector, how likely is it that we get a definitive answer to that question of whether or not there was a deal at the beginning that OpenAI stay a nonprofit forever?
So we might, right? The parties are still in a discovery stage. They're exchanging documents. We have to see what transpired. What can Musk and Altman prove as to what they said about Musk's $45 million going into it? Even regardless of the $45 million, did they have some agreement at all that this was going to remain a nonprofit? And by the way, the agreement does not have to necessarily be in writing. The judge was skeptical. She said, well, $45 million, that's a lot of money to put on the table without some sort of a memorialization of that agreement. But she said, look, oral agreements are enforceable too, so we need to find out what really transpired between these two parties.